depending on your service, a top 5 class in the Big Ten, a top 20 to 25 class in the nation for 2021. Who have I know that because of the craziness of 2020, you haven't quite seen and made the visits that you typically do. But who are some of the guys out there that you've scouted firsthand, and what do you like about the class coming up?
Well, yeah, right now Rivals has them ranked 17th in the country. I've actually I've been out to see quite a few commits. Luckily, Nebraska's done a great job with 5 in-state recruits, 3 from Iowa, 1 from South Dakota. So I've actually got to see all those guys in person. So I like a lot of the guys that I've seen. Obviously, I'll start in-state. Rivals 100 offensive tackle Teddy Prohaska. He's a guy that we've talked about a lot on this show, and he's been committed since last year in Nebraska. And big 6'9". He's got once he puts on the kind of weight that you're going to want a guy like that to play with, he should be a good one down the line. You got a safety and Kobe Bretts at Omaha West Side, who's one of the top 2 teams in the state this year, and I'm gonna see them play again tomorrow in second round of the Nebraska State playoffs. They host Grand Island, and then I'm gonna jump across the river and go see Thomas Fedoni, the Rivals 100 tight end commit, which right now is the bell cow of the class. Everybody wanted Fedoni, and Nebraska had the best relationships with him, and a lot of this, having guys close to you like this in these times where you can't take official visits has helped out a lot. It really has. So you got him, and then with 3 tight ends, they've taken 3 tight ends in this class, so they're really stocking up. Omaha Creighton Prep, AJ Rollins, he's another big body. He's 6'5". And then you've got James Carney, who's another 6'5". He's out of Morris, out of Firth, Nebraska, which is just right outside of Lincoln here. So they're loading up in state here. Then you've got a quarterback, Heinrich Harburg. He's from Kearney Catholic, here, Kearney, Nebraska, and he's another 6'5" guy. Good looking quarterback. They host first round playoff game tomorrow night as well. And who else have I seen? You got a linebacker out of Iowa, outside linebacker Seth Malcolm. I love this kid. He plays 8-man football out of Tabor, Iowa, at Fremont Mills High School. And this kid reminds me a lot of Luke Reimer, who was a walk-on at Nebraska, who just earned a scholarship and played a lot of football as a true freshman last year for Nebraska. This kid runs sideline to sideline and hits like a ton of bricks. And then way out almost in Illinois, Big Henry Lutowski. I saw him a couple weeks ago. He'll move inside and play offensive guard at Nebraska, and I tell you what, he impressed the heck out of me. His technique is amazing. He never holds, and I even brought that up to his coach after the game. I said, he never holds, and he goes, he never does hold. He actually did get called for a hold in that game. It was the first hold of the year that he got called. And, it was a blowout win in the first round of the playoffs for them. But, he's impressive. Nebraska's the last 3 years have had a big-time offensive line commit, and 2 years ago with Bryce Benhart, then last year with Turner Corcoran. And you had Henry Lutowski right up to this list. He's only ranked a 3-star, but hopefully, he's going to get a bump up in the next ranking here. So those guys, I really love those guys. And then you add some other, some nice out-of-state guys. You got a pair of guys out of Buford, Georgia, that are going to help out a lot, in those positions of need. You've got a 4-star wide receiver coming out of Texas. Nebraska always seems to grab somebody special out of that state every year. So, they've spread it around. They got a big offensive lineman out of Utah, which I was going to go see, but still don't really want to get on a plane right now. But yeah, I have missed going out around the rest of the country and seeing some of these guys in person. So it's always different than just watching their game film. You learn a lot more about these guys when you go see them play in person and you talk to them. So, but overall, I love what they're doing right now, and probably they're taking a full boat here. So they got 19 commits right now. Probably looking at about 4 more, maybe 5.
James Warner's got a question here for Greg. Whatever happened to the walk-on talent Tom Osborne used in building this program? Recruiting has truly dropped off considerably over the last 25 years.
Well, the walk-on program has actually been paying off pretty well here the last couple of years since Coach Frost made his way back here. It kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit under Bo Pelini. Bo Pelini just didn't recruit in-state very effectively. I mean, I don't want to say he didn't recruit in-state guys, but there was a lot of guys that he used to overlook and would just kind of assume that those top guys that didn't get an offer were going to walk on, because that's kind of like the tradition that Nebraska used to have. Now, Mike Riley, when he got here, he made a conscious effort to make a little bit bigger splash with walk-ons. Obviously, we know what happened. He never really got a chance to see his vision play out. But no, Scott Frost understands the walk-on tradition here at Nebraska, and you know what? They're adding 25 to 30 walk-ons a year. I don't know if you're aware that Nebraska has a 154-man roster, I think it is. They've got the biggest roster in Division I football, I believe. So there's a lot of walk-ons here, and there's a lot of walk-ons that have been contributing out of need, actually. So just look for it to get better and better, because a lot of these in-state kids, they want to come here and play. They always have, and with Coach Frost here, it's even a bigger want to now.
I heard a stat the other day, Greg, that there are 25 stars in the Big Ten, and out of the 20 in the Big Ten, 14 signed at Ohio State.
Yeah.
So
does that surprise you?
No, it doesn't. No. It didn't surprise me at all. What's your thought about where Nebraska needs to get? You mentioned the 17th class as it stands right now. That would seem to be in an area where they would need to be with Wisconsin and Iowa to be a main contender to win that Big Ten Western Division year in, year out.
You're right, Mark. Let me tell you what I've learned throughout my years working at Rivals and on the national side, and then also covering a team. Pretty much where your recruiting ranking ends during the year is pretty much going to be where you're ranked at the end of the college football year, too. It kind of seems to fall that way quite a bit. So, I mean, what Nebraska's – okay, they got the 17th ranked class right now. A lot of times here, it drops down into the mid-20s or something by the end of it. But you obviously need to step that up. Nebraska's a blue blood, a college football blue blood. You want to be up. You need to have a top 10 recruiting class if you're going to compete in the Big Ten. Nebraska fans, you want to get a top 5 recruiting class. You want to, look. Last time Nebraska was a powerful recruiting class was under Bill Callahan. Okay, he was recruiting like your Ohio States, like your Alabamas, and he never got the chance to finish out his vision either, unfortunately. But obviously, your question, I think it answers itself, because you want to have some of those 5 stars. Nebraska's not had a 5-star recruit since Baker Steinkuhler came out of Lincoln Southwest High School. So, that's got to step up. Nebraska needs to start getting 2, 3, 5 stars in each class, and then supplement that with, a good 10 or a dozen 4-star guys. Right now, Nebraska's got 3 4-star guys. Those are their highest ranked recruits. The rest, I mean, obviously you build your classes on three-star talent. I mean, that's what Wisconsin's a master at doing. But you look at most people's rosters; they're full of 3-star, 2-star guys. So that's just where the numbers are going to lie. And the key is finding those diamonds in the rough, which Wisconsin's had a real good run at doing here. A lot of guys in-state guys that they take that don't get recruited real heavily, they turn into some studs. So, I mean, obviously you want a mix of that here at Nebraska. You want to get some of those higher ranked guys, but you still need a lot of these guys that you're getting, these in-state guys that are going to, make the foundation of your team for 4 years, that are going to stick around for 4 years.
So what do you think the formula is? Is the formula, like you say, you build and complement the roster? The 5 stars and even the 4 stars don't build the roster. The roster is built on the 3 stars. And I'm guessing you can get those in your region of the country, although there's a lot of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Iowa influence in the upper Midwest. But you can get a lot of that in Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, etc.
Which is what they do. Missouri.
Other than that, to get the game changers, of course, there's some right there in your backyard, but there's probably not enough. I know Mike Riley went the California route. Others have gone the Texas route when you were in the Big 12, and now it seems like Florida's been more of a destination for Scott Frost.
Florida has been Scott Frost's kind of stomping ground, what have you, because they've got a lot of ties down in the South Florida area, and like I mentioned earlier, there was a couple of guys that were in this last year's class out of Florida that didn't make it here, that could have been some game changers that I was really excited about. But Florida and Georgia have been the 2 southern states where Nebraska's been having a lot of success lately. And I expect them to keep on hitting those areas hard. And Texas is a place that you have to get into more than they have been. I think it was on the Ohio State broadcast. I think they had mentioned, Nebraska used to, or maybe it was after on the radio or something, that, Nebraska used to always recruit Jersey and California hard, which they did. And, why can't they get back to that? But recruiting is way different than it was back then. You got a lot more places down in the South that are much more desirable, than coming into the middle of the country. A lot of these kids don't even know what the tradition of Nebraska football used to be, back from the 70s on through the 90s. So you got to keep on, you got to keep getting the top kids from around your region. You can't let them get away. Every year there seems to be like a top-ranked guy right around in our backyard that gets away from us. There's one at Omaha West Side right now, Avante Dickerson, he's committed to Minnesota, and a lot of the commits on the team are his best friends committed to Nebraska, and they're all working him hard. But you can't let these guys get away, and then you've got to get in early on these guys. A lot of times when you see a big, highly ranked guy come to Nebraska, it's because Nebraska was that first team that ever showed interest in him, and Nebraska showed the kind of interest in that particular prospect that they were looking for, as far as maybe position-wise, where a kid, maybe he's getting recruited at a certain position by everybody else, but he doesn't want to play that position. And Scott Frost says, hell, come to Nebraska. We'll let you play wherever you want to. We just want you here. We want to be part of your, you're part of your family. So, there's a lot of those factors in there, and it's hard to recruit here for sure, and it's gotten a lot harder. But I think the right guy and the right staff is in place here to get it done down the road.